Hello bacha buddy, how are you all doing? I am Sweta Roy and welcome to English and More. So guys, are you all set for your English term 2 exam? So I will help you in today's revision. So all you have to do is just sit back, relax and listen to me, and today your poems will be done. So are we ready? How excited you all are? How is the Josh? So we have 3 poems. Amanda. Then we have the second poem that we have is Animals, both with A. And the third poem is Custard, the dragon. Tale of Custard, the dragon. Right? So we'll start with Amanda, which is one of my personal favorites. Actually, all the 3 are wonderful. So I'll start with Amanda, okay? Because Amanda is something a poem which we all can relate to, especially the girls, right? Okay, so Amanda, please note that the poem is written by Robin Klein. Note the spelling of Klein, it's K-L-E-I-N. Don't make a spelling error, your marks would be deducted. Okay, so as I talk about Amanda, in your NCERT, the first, paragraph that is given is, it's something like this: every child feels that he or she is controlled and instructed to not do one thing or the other. You also feel that, right? See, these are the areas where we need to focus on, because this encapsulates the theme of the poem. So don't gloss over this part, okay? So you too might feel that your freedom is curtailed, which means Amanda, our character, feels that her freedom is curtailed. So this entire poem talks about freedom. This poem talks about control, controlling, giving freedom, setting instructions, and it talks about the bringing up of a teenage girl, Amanda. So it also encapsulates a little bit of the feminist issues, right? Gender issues and stereotyping, because it talks about the growing up of a girl child and how she is primed and she's kind of pruned by the society's set norms. So it begins with, don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop slouching and sit up straight, Amanda. Then followed by Amanda's response. There is a languid emerald sea where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid drifting blissfully. Now, a lot of things to be noted in this particular stanza. First question that we have is the exclamation mark after Amanda. Why? This is not an exclamatory sentence. You must have done exclamatory sentence, right? So this is not an exclamatory sentence. This is an imperative sentence. It is order, right? So order, request, all these comes under imperative sentence. This is an imperative sentence, but it shows the frustration, the anger of the parents. And that is why it ends with exclamation mark. And then the set of instructions, okay? Which is self-explanatory. Hunching your shoulder is sitting like this. Most of the times our parents have told us not to sit like this, to sit straight. Okay, stop that slouching. So slouching is sitting in a relaxed position in this way, right? So most of us, we also sit like this, right? So sometimes we are corrected, okay? Especially if you note, these are usually given to girls. I am not saying that boys are not told to sit upright. They are also said, but especially when girls sit in a relaxed position like this, मम्मी बोलती है ना, बेटा ढंग से बैठो, how are you sitting, right? So this is a point that we need to take a note of. And there is parenthesis, there are brackets. Question, why have we used brackets? This is talking about the response of Amanda to the set of instructions that she constantly receives and her parents nag about. What pattern she has figured out, what response she has figured out. She has tried and figured out a kind of response, and that is not answering back, but simply taking a refuge in the world of fantasy. right? So then the set of instruction goes on and on. Did you finish the homework? Did you do your cleaning? Did you tidy your room? I told you to clean your shoes, which all of us receive every day, right? So this is so very relatable, isn't it? The next paragraph is a very, very important one. I am an orphan roaming the street. I pattern soft dust with my hushed bare feet. The silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. There is this girl desires to be an orphan, which is hopelessly depressing. Don't you think so? Which clearly suggests that there is something which is going wrong between the parent and the daughter relationship, right? So, and she thinks that silence is golden, freedom is sweet, all these are figures of speech, metaphor, okay? Don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Remember your acne, Amanda. How many of you faced this problem? You all are teenagers. You must have been facing this problem even now. The problem of acne on your skin. I have also faced this. Everyone, most of us do, right? But the problem over here is not that acne. The problem over here is the restriction, the curtailing of freedom. So Amanda is curtailed from the freedom of having chocolates. So again, the emphasis is on how she looks, how she appears, right? So that is something which is very, very important. Amanda's response, I am a Rapunzel, I have not a care. Life in a tower is tranquil and rare. I'll certainly never let down my bright hair. So this is a reference to Rapunzel, the fairy tale of Rapunzel. Okay, another figure of speech where we have references, right? So what did Rapunzel do? She was a fairy and she had this long hair, okay, and she used to let down her hair and the prince used to climb using her hair. She had very strong hair. Clinic Plus का shampoo का ad देखा है ना? So that, remember that, okay? So she had that long Clinic Plus hair wala shampoo, Clinic Plus shampoo wala hair, okay, and the prince used to climb on that hair, okay. But here the hair is not our focus. The focus is the tower. Why? For Rapunzel, it was a life of restriction. She was in that solitary tower. She was captured. She was captivated. And Amanda wants to go there and she wants to be captured in that tower. Why? Please note the word tranquil. Tranquil means calm, peaceful. She wants to go to that place to secure that peace. Why? Because her present is chaotic. Why is it chaotic? Because of the constant shouting and nagging of her parents and giving her a set of instructions. And then what is the parents' response to this? Stop that sulking, Amanda. Sulking is being very moody. Why are you so moody always, Amanda? Anyone would think I nagged at you, Amanda. Last line is very important. Anyone would think. Who is this anyone? And why do they think about us? This anyone is the society. All of us have that societal expectation, that fear of the societal expectation. Oh, what will he think? What will she think? What will people say? People, they will say anyway. They will say whatever they have to say. Why do we have to think? As a result of this, in order to balance between the child's desires and societal expectation, the parents are in a struggle. They are not able to balance it out. And the result is the teenager problems, right? Which we all face. Okay? Now this is the central idea. Now what is the rhyme scheme here? AABB. I hope you know how to find out the rhyme scheme. So you have to look at the last words. Take a simple poem. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. So star and R, they are rhyming. So we put A at the end. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. High, sky, rhyming. You will put B at the end. So what is the rhyme scheme? AABB. Okay. Star, R, AA, sky, high, BB. Similarly, here it's AABA. AABA is the rhyme scheme. Please take a note. If you're asked the rhyme scheme, you will definitely be given the stanza. to just have a look. Okay, without the stanza, it's very difficult to find out the rhyme scheme. Hopefully you will get the stanza. Now, what is the central idea? It is the encounter between Amanda and her mother, and in which we always see the mother correcting the behavior, telling her to sit straight, not to sulk, to clean her room, and also not to have chocolates because it is harmful for the skin. In response, Amanda withdraws to a world of fantasy, imagines herself to be in other situations like mermaid and orphan, okay, and also Princess Rapunzel. But she will not let down the hair because she doesn't want any prince to come and disturb her. Otherwise, again, it will be a nagging, right? She wants that solitude. Okay, that is why she wants to go there. Themes of the poem. You can yourself now tell me what are the themes of the poem. One is end of childhood. So Amanda is at the transition period. She is a teenager. How do we know that? The reference to the word acne. Acne is a physical characteristic feature that evolves during this period. Teenage is a period of storm and stress. So I can completely understand what you people are going through because I have also passed through that same stage not long ago. I'm not that old, right? Okay. So childhood is a time when we indulge in our fantasies. We can do whatever we want to. But as soon as we reach adolescence, since this is talking about the girl child Amanda, girls can very well relate to it. We are expected to abandon such practices, right? So we cannot go back to our old fantasies. Amanda has now reached in between that phase, that childhood and adolescence, that transitional phase. Okay, and now this is shown subtly by the appearance and growth of acne. And because she is no longer a child, her mother wants her to expects her to fulfill certain responsibilities. Finishing homework, cleaning up. Boys can also relate. Boys are also said, right? Now boys will say, ma'am, you are not relating to us at all. No. I am against gender discrimination. So everyone is passing through a tough time. Even boys have the beard and the acne problem. It's not just for the girls, right? So Amanda wants to postpone this process. She doesn't want to. Teenage is a very problematic sphere. We are neither young, we are neither old. We are somewhere in between and nobody understands us, right? So same was the problem with Amanda. So at this point of time, it is important for us to bridge the gap between the parent and the child. So parent should not be like parent at this point. Parent should be a friend, a philosopher, and a guide to the children when the children are teenagers, right? The second point is expected behavior of young women. This is a very important point. So as women, so girls, when they grow into women after puberty, right? So they're expected to act and behave like a lady, sitting like a lady, right? Most of our mothers and parents, they tell us, mostly mothers do tell us, right? So sit up straight, take care of your appearance. You should not have acne, you should not have blemishes. Otherwise, no one is going to marry you, right? And to be always sweet and polite. Societal expectation. The mother is not at fault. It is the expectation which is set at the society. Society is controlling us, right? And this is what Amanda's mother also wants her to do. So she wants her to be radiant, glowing, prim and proper. But Amanda, she is just a girl. She does not understand and she does not like all this, right? Okay, so she wants to go to a world of fantasy where there are no such false expectations. Okay, she wants to build up her own realm of imagination and be free from all expectations. So now we have the tone of the poem. What is the tone of the poem? Tone is very important. You have to understand the tone of the poems, the stories. So the first is the mother, right? Her tone, you can understand, exclamation mark and all, very authoritative, strict, filled with anger, rage, okay? And Amanda's tone, dreamy. She dreams. She is in her own dream world, like most of us do, right? I also used to, I still do the same. Even when my parents scold, my mother scold, clean up my room, clean up your room, etc., etc., I am in another world, right? So she is also like that, okay? And very childish. I'm also kind of childish. Most of my acquaintances tell me. Okay, the clash between them is what provides us the amusement. The clash between the tone of the mother, angry, and what is the response of the daughter? Dream world. No response. Okay, and then the conclusion is what? We all have felt that pressure to be perfect. Okay, and mostly our parents, from our parents. Parents are not at fault. It's the system, the society, which is, because of which all these are ingrained. Okay, and Amanda is resisting this. How? By she is not able to dwell with her mother, right? So she's not able to counter her mother, but she is slowly disappearing in her own dream world. So that was Amanda. So Amanda, from Amanda, you can, the basic theme, if you understand, you can answer all the questions that can come. Okay, teenage, growing up, girl child, all of this. Okay, end of childhood, expectation from a woman. Okay, all of these themes, if you understand, then if you get any situation based question or something like that, you will be able to tackle. The main thing is understanding the poem, going beyond the lines, reading between the lines and understanding each and every point. Okay, next is Animals by Walt Whitman. Now what is Animals all about? I'll directly go to, I'll not read out the poem, I'll make you just understand the poem. You can read the poem by yourself, right? So the poet finds oneness with the animal world. He wants to unite with the animal world. His love, his proximity to the animal spirit, that is the basis of the poem. Okay, so the poem begins like, I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self-contained. Placid, calm, self-contained is satisfied. So that is the reason. So here he is talking about the virtues of animals, which is in sharp contrast with the virtues that we lack as humans. Okay, so vices of humans, virtues of the animals, and animals are placed on a higher pedestal. The poet's world is not one where human would whine and nag and utter meaningless utterances. His world is where there are no rules, no customs, and no regret. For example, he says over here, they do not sweat and whine about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. So no complaints, no weeping. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. What do we find here? The poet's non-conformist nature. Okay, so the beauty of the present moment is what keeps the poet alive. And where do we find this beauty? We don't find this beauty in human beings. We find this beauty in animal world, because animals live in the moment. That's beautiful. Human beings fret and worry about the future, think about the past, forget to enjoy the present, always complaining, right? In this poem, the poet happily breaks his allegiance with mankind. He finds solace in animals. And another important point is over here, dissatisfied. No one is dissatisfied, no one is demented with the mania of owning things. The mania of owning things, very, very important. This is where human beings falter and they fall down. You can cross-refer to fire and ice. What did fire represent? Desire, unbridled desire. That was the result, that would be the result of the cause of the end of the world. Here also the same thing. Human beings are destroyed. They are getting destroyed. Why? Because of this madness of owning things. That is why they are never happy. One thing we get, we want the next thing. Okay, so we always look forward. Yes, it is important to look forward, but we should not be mad about that. We should definitely have some ambition, but when ambition starts to control us, if it becomes unbridled desire, then it becomes dangerous. So that is what the poet does not want. He wants human beings also to inculcate these beautiful qualities with animals, from animals, like, their calmness, their simplicity, their contentment. Okay, and then he says, and that is why he wants to turn to the world of animals and break his allegiance with the world of man. And then he says, so they show their relations to me and I accept them. So there is no regret in breaking the bond with the human world in the poet's heart. He accepts the relations that the animals bring to him, the tokens of himself. Tokens here means quality. So these tokens are representations or symbols that resembles the poet's nature. So the poet's nature is also similar to the animals, and that is why he wants to live with them. Okay, so and last line is very important. Did I pass that way huge times ago and negligently drop them? So he says that human beings were not like this before. Human beings were also close to Mother Nature. They were simple. But with the advancement of technology, what has happened? We have been stripped away from Mother Earth. We have ourselves done that. We are so into machines, we are so into technology, the flip side of it actually, that we have become very complicated. Human lives with urbanization, westernization, modernization has become, human lives have become very, very complicated, and we have lost that simplicity and that we used to have. Our primitive men, they were so simple, they were so happy. Nowadays we have everything, but still we are not happy. That's the reason. Animals, look at animals, they are so happy, right? So what is the theme? Several themes have been captured here. One is animal versus human, the simplest of all, okay, the broadest of all. Human suffering. We human beings, we suffer, we cry for our sins, and we also are very complicated beings, right? Animals show their relation to each other very honestly. If a lion wants to hunt a deer, it will hunt, right? It is very brutal and honest about it. It will not show that, okay, I'm going to give you something, but I'm going to backstab you and hunt you. No, this backstabbing, this showing a hypocrisy, this hypocrisy is something which human beings do, not animals. Animals are plain, simple, brutal, honest. Okay, something on the face and something behind, that is not their cup of tea. That is where human beings lie. Okay, and everything in the animal world is equal. They don't bow before anyone, they do not pay homage to their ancestors. Everyone there is equal. But in human world, there is high, low, caste, this, that, whatnot, so many divisions. Materialism, we have already talked about that, mania of owning things. Religion, I have talked about that. The poet is sick and tired of people discussing their duty towards God to the poet. So we come across the non-conformist nature here, and individualism. So that was all about Animals by Walt Whitman. I hope the poem is clear to you. Now you will be able to attempt any question, situation based, whatever. Okay. Next is The Tale of Custard the Dragon, the last poem by Ogden, Nash. It's a poem for children. It's a ballad. Okay. Now what is a ballad and how it is a ballad, that also we will discuss. This could come as a question as well. You can expect that. So in this poem, the poet represents the story of Belinda, who's a little girl. She had pets, black kitten, grey mouse, yellow dog, and a little dragon. Okay. Remember the names of all the pets. Apart from that, she also had a red wagon to play with. The wagon is not the pet, please. Okay, the wagon is something with which the pets used to play. Okay, she lived in a little white house, and then the poet tries to create a heroic sketch of the characters, all the characters except the dragon. Look at the title, Custard the Dragon. The dragon has been named Custard. Why? Because of his cowardly nature. So it is meant to create a humorous effect. The poem is filled with humor. It parodies the excess of self-confidence, the false boast, okay, that makes one appear as a fool when he faces a crisis situation and he is unable to act. But he boasted earlier about his talent, and when the situation comes, he fails to act. This is so the poem parodies this excessive self-confidence, okay. Whereas the cowardly creatures, so all the other creatures, the cat, the mouse, all of these, they are portrayed as heroic characters, but when actual time comes, they all disappear, right? Except the little dragon, who comes out victorious at the end. Although he cries for a nice safe cage, he is brutally, cruelly treated by all the others, made a laughing stock, but still he is the one who comes to rescue Belinda at the time of need. Now, what is a ballad? A ballad is a verse, a poem, okay? It is narrative in nature. It is often set to music. It had developed in the 14th and the 15th century. Okay. Now this poem, The Tale of Custard, the Dragon by Ogden, Nash. What is the theme of this poem? First is appearance versus reality. The other creatures like the rat, the mustard, then ink, blink, okay, these are the names, please remember the names. They appeared to be brave. There is an elaborate description about their bravery, okay, but ultimately what happened? Reality, they failed. When crisis came, they failed to act. Whereas on the other hand, Custard, who always used to cry for a nice safe cage is protection, so he always wanted protection, he always wanted that pampering, okay, that is why he was always made fun of. But actually he was the one who was brave, okay, but he never used to boast about it. You've heard that proverb, empty vessel sounds more, right? So which means when you have the qualities, you are humble. When you don't have, you try to show off. That is when you make the sound, right? So if there is a vessel which is filled, if you shake it, it won't make that much of sound. If there is a vessel which is not filled to the brim, you shake it, it will make sound, which means it is empty, it does not have, but still it wants to show, okay. So that is, you can use this quote in your value based questions, okay. And then the cat, the mouse, the dog, they appear courageous, but they are like empty vessels who sound more. They reveal their real cowardice. In contrast, the dragon, who in reality is the dangerous one out of them all, he appears to be a coward in nature. So here you have appearance versus reality. So during the crisis, he saves everyone, and someone's appearance does not actually make him powerful. It is the action which speaks. If you can cross-refer to the story where you have Wanda Petronsky, you remember 100 dresses, right? You have that. So try to think about Wanda Petronsky, how she was bullied. She proved it through her actions. She never said a word. Same way, Custard the dragon proved it through his actions. He also did not say a word. Always try to remember which other relative text you have read. So it helps you to cross-refer. Sometimes also questions encapsulating 2 or more chapters are asked in your paper. So it helps you in ideating. Okay. Right. So moreover, the theme of hypocrisy, that is also there. It's present in the 9th and 13th stanzas, when these showy creatures, they run away. Showy creatures, you know, the cat, dog, all of them they run away when the pirate creeps in. So when you're reading the poem, read the duel between the pirate and Custard. The duel is important. You can have a question on that. Read the description of the dragon, okay, that is also important. And read the descriptions of the other characters as well. So all the descriptions, pirate, other animals, dragon, plus the conflict, the challenge, the duel between the dragon and how he finally came out as a victorious. And then what happened? Then the baseless explanation of their fleeing. Last, what happened? At last, All the animals, initially they were all dancing around and hugging Custard, but again the same thing, right? Again they said that. And one more point is his comparison with Percival. So Percival again is a reference to the to Arthurian knight. He was also mocked by the other knights because, okay, so that is a comparison, which, so figure of speech, which you should remember. And lastly, he says that I quite agree that everyone is braver than me. This shows his humility. He doesn't believe in showing, he believes in doing. So he accepts, okay, if you think that you could have done better, if you were like me, if you were of my size, fine, I agree with that, I accept it. Okay, so that is something which tells us that, which actually places the other animals as fools, as people who make empty boasts, and the dragon who actually showcases the real talent during the time of crisis. So in our real life situations also, we will have this kind of we will face a lot of people like the other characters and like Custard the dragon. You can also be one among these characters. So which character are you? You might also have done the same thing as the other characters have done. Think about it. Or you might have faced the same as the dragon has faced. Think about it. And try to apply this in your day-to-day life situation. The moment you apply that in your daily life situation, you will be able to write the value-based questions very easily. Okay? Think about it. Right. So then how is it a ballad? Because it's a poem which narrates a story. Okay, so ballads are poem. One more ballad which you had read in the 9th grade, if you remember that, the story, the poem where you had the lady, the girl, the woman who was turned into woodpecker. I'm forgetting the name of the poem. So you can give me the name in the comment section. That's your homework, and it's slipping off my mind. The lady was turned into a woodpecker, right? That was also a ballad. Give me the name in the comment box. Okay, what is the rhyme scheme? The rhyme scheme is AABB. In the previous poem Animals, that there was no rhyme scheme. Okay, it was a free verse. Here it is AABB, which gives the musical feel. And I told you that the ballads, they are sung to music. Okay, so and ballads, sorry, ballads, they are usually talk about heroic adventures, tales of adventures and heroism. And in this poem also there is an encounter between Custard and the pirate, which also talks about the heroism of Custard the dragon. He's hailed as a hero, his heroic entry and all of that. So that is also that also represents typically it represents a ballad. And I talked about the 4-line stanzas having the rhyme scheme AABB, which adds to the ballad, the feature of ballad. Okay, now what is the message in this poem? There is a subtle message to the readers through the fate of Custard the dragon. In the world of deceit, self-confidence, self-dependence, self-respect, these are essentials to earn your rightful place among your peers. It is important, right? The mere presence of physical strength is not enough. The more important point is that you must be conscious about your strength. That is also one side of the story, right? So you need to be conscious about your strength. You need to be self-confident. Somehow this self-confidence might be lacking. We can have multiple perspectives of the story, right? You must be fully aware that many others who are inferior in strength and power should have no right to taunt or ridicule you. Okay? And another thing is, we cannot underestimate anyone. Whether a creature is big or small, even a needle is useful, right? So it has value. So we should not underestimate the value and importance of anyone. That is also something which is important. And apart from that, empty vessel sounds more words, action speaks louder than words. Same with Wanda Petronsky also. Okay, so that was all about the 3 poems. So this was a marathon session on the poems, solely devoted to the poems. So now I think you are half done just by listening to the explanation. This is the last minute preparation. You've almost done. You've already done whatever you had to. So I'm just trying to revise everything once again, so that you don't have to go back to your books and do it on your own. You can do it with me. You can do it with your peers in the class itself. So do let me know, was this helpful, so that we can start off with the story part and the other things next class, that is tomorrow before your exam. Okay, we'll have a final revision, and any doubt that you have in any chapter, you can just shoot those doubts in the comment sections. I will be taking up doubts from that, and I will be solving that in the next class. Okay, so till then guys, take care and see you. All the best. Rock. You're going to rock. I know that. Okay, bye. Take care.